Today, the world woke up to a political earthquake. The United States launched military strikes inside Venezuela. Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro has been captured. And Donald Trump says, "We're going to run the country." This is not a rumor. This is not a warning. This is happening now. Good evening. You are watching News Focus, delivering verified, truthful news at the fastest speed. On January 3rd, 2026, the United States carried out one of the most dramatic foreign military actions of the modern era. U.S. forces launched coordinated strikes across Venezuela, targeting key military and government installations in and around the capital city, Caracas. Explosions were reported before dawn. Power outages followed. Communications went dark in several areas. Within hours, the White House confirmed what few believed possible. Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro and First Lady Cilia Flores were captured during a U.S. military operation and taken into American custody. President Donald Trump personally announced the operation, calling it swift, precise, and successful. Trump stated that Maduro was apprehended alive, removed from Venezuelan territory, and transported under heavy security to U.S. control. Then came the statement that stunned the world. Trump said, "Until Venezuela is stabilized, we're going to run the country." How the operation unfolded. According to U.S. officials, the operation was carried out by elite American special forces. The mission involved airborne insertions, intelligence-guided targeting, and rapid extraction. The operation focused on Maduro's secured location, believed to be heavily guarded. Within minutes, U.S. forces breached the compound. No prolonged firefight was reported. Maduro was detained, restrained, and removed from the site. American officials say the mission was completed with minimal U.S. casualties. Images later emerged showing Maduro under guard, surrounded by U.S. personnel, marking the first time in modern history that a sitting Latin American president was captured by U.S. forces during an active operation. Why the U.S. took this step? The Trump administration claims Maduro was responsible for narco-terrorism, large-scale drug trafficking, human rights abuses, undermining democratic processes. U.S. officials argue that Venezuela had become a criminal state, posing a direct threat to regional and American security. Trump said the operation was necessary, decisive, and long overdue. He emphasized that this was not a war against the Venezuelan people, but against what he called a criminal regime. The shocking run the country statement. Trump's declaration that the U.S. would run the country triggered immediate global reaction. The administration clarified that the U.S. intends to oversee a temporary transitional period, focusing on restoring order, securing oil infrastructure, rebuilding governance, preparing for new leadership. Critics, however, called it an unprecedented assertion of control over a sovereign nation. Supporters say it's a necessary move to prevent chaos. Opponents say it's foreign occupation. Reaction inside Venezuela. Inside Venezuela, confusion and anger spread quickly. Government officials loyal to Maduro condemned the action as an invasion and kidnapping. Pro-government supporters gathered in parts of Caracas, calling for resistance. Opposition groups reacted differently. Some celebrated Maduro's capture, calling it the end of a brutal era. Others warned that U.S. involvement could destabilize the nation further. With Maduro gone, Venezuela faces a massive power vacuum. Global reaction. The international response was immediate and intense. Russia and China strongly condemned the U.S. action, calling it a violation of international law and national sovereignty. Several Latin American nations expressed deep concern, warning that the move could destabilize the entire region. The United Nations began emergency consultations with calls for an urgent Security Council meeting. Meanwhile, U.S. allies remained cautious, avoiding full endorsement while monitoring developments closely. Legal and political controversy. Back in the United States, legal experts and lawmakers raised serious questions. Some members of Congress demanded to know whether the president had authorization to conduct such an operation. Others argued the president acted within his authority to protect national security. The debate is now growing over whether this action sets a new precedent, one that could redefine how global power is exercised. What happens to Maduro now? Maduro is now in U.S. custody and is expected to face charges related to drug trafficking and terrorism. Legal proceedings could take years. His capture marks a dramatic fall for a leader who once appeared untouchable. from presidential palace to prison transport in a matter of hours. What this means for the world, this moment may reshape international relations. It raises urgent questions. Can powerful nations remove foreign leaders by force? Where does international law stand now? Is this a turning point or a dangerous escalation? Supporters call it decisive leadership. Critics call it imperial overreach. But one thing is undeniable. The rules of global politics have shifted. Closing lines, strong ending. A president captured, a country destabilized, a superpower stepping in. History will judge this moment. But today, the world watches as Venezuela enters a new and uncertain chapter under the shadow of American power. We'll keep tracking this story. Stay with News Focus for the latest updates.